All right, it's a little noisy out here, but that's okay. It's nice. It's a beautiful day. I figured I'd get a chance to get into the Word a little bit here with you. Chapter 18 of Numbers kind of goes over the priests a little bit, telling them what their instructions are a little bit. The priests tithing. It's interesting that the Bible sets aside a tithe for the Levites, for the people that are taking care of the tabernacle, and just like we are tithing to the church to take care of our pastor, to take care of his family, his so his work can be to spend his time ministering to the people in the church. His job is to take care of the flock that God has given him, in order to have time to go to the hospital, help the poor, minister to people who are hurting, who are broken. That's the pastor's job, and our job is to tithe to the church so that we can help him do his job, him or her, the ministers that God has put into place. That he has told us what we should do. And it's interesting is that chapter 18 kind of just reminds us of that. How the Levites were, their living was to live off of the money brought into the temple, into the tabernacle by the people of Israel. Chapter 19 talks about holy water again, about just sprinkling that upon the sacrifice. It's interesting, again, every time I read these sacrifice things, I just want to put on an apron and get a grill out to say, the sweet smell of the barbecue up to the aroma of the Lord. Chapter 19 talks about that a little bit more. Chapter 20 is a big one, because that kind of just, is why Aaron and Moses were not allowed to go in. And Miriam dies somewhere in here in one of these chapters as well. Aaron's going to die at the end of the chapter. At the end of chapter 20, Miriam's going to pass. And I think that's important, because it kind of tells us that, what Aaron and Moses did is they represented God incorrectly. They misrepresented God. They said they made it look like God was angry with the people. And he wasn't in this passage. Because actually the people are thirsty. They're in the wilderness and they're thirsty, as you would be in the desert. And God tells Moses to speak to this rock. There's this rock. And this rock is in the New Testament, we hear the rock is Christ, in the sense that they are following them around in the desert. But this actual physical rock, this is the second time that Moses has been told to do something with a rock. The first time is he strikes the rock and water comes out to feed the people. The second time he's supposed to speak to the rock, which would be sort of analogous to the second coming of Christ. The first coming of Christ, of course, we crucified Jesus, and the second coming, the people of Israel are going to cry out to the Messiah, say, we messed up, you came, we killed you, you resurrected, now come again and free us, rescue us again. And that's going to be a big point at the end times. Boy, it's loud at the airport. Anyway, we maybe I should have picked a quieter spot. That's all right. I'm loud too. I'm very loud. I was trying to go over this really quickly, because it's something that is important with the way that we are as Christians, and how we are representing God. The first time, the last video, we talked about representing, how we're supposed to respect ministers and take care of pastors, and how we respect authority, and respecting people. And now, chapter 20 really hits on the other side of the coin, how ministers and how Christians are supposed to represent Jesus in everything that we do. Just like if you work at a hardware store and you put on the vest and it's got the name of the place you work at on your tag, and you go around doing your job at the store, people are going to see you as a representative of that store. And you have to be careful how you're representing the store. And in the same way, we have to represent Christ the right way, represent God the right way. He's a loving God. He's a holy God. He's a forgiving God. He has a desire to be with us in our lives every moment. And he wants to, we want to represent him correctly, which is why we need to read the Word and study the Word to see what he is, see who he is, to get to know him better, so that we can help others get to know him better. That is the ultimate goal of the Christian walk, is to know him and to be known by him, and then to help other people know him too. It's all about relationship. So that's all of chapter 20 just pours into that. And of course, Moses and Aaron do not go into the promised land because they didn't represent God correctly. That's how bad that was. The sin of misrepresenting God. You think about that. We are called Christians, so we should be representing Christ in everything that we do and say and think and everything. So get to know him more so that we can help people get to know him more. That's all we got for that chapter. So we're going to continue on the next one. Keep studying, man.